This is Dave Beasley, New York Bassworks, sitting here with bassist Mark Verdino. Mark, how you doing today?
Good to be here.
Mark managed to carve some time out of his very busy schedule to sit with us today. Mark is currently on tour with international film star Hugh Jackman. Most people will know him as Wolverine.
Yeah.
He's doing the Man in the Music tour.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have just completed your European leg of the tour.
That's correct. Yeah, we're on a break right now for a week. We just finished the European UK leg, and the US leg starts next week for about 5 or 6 weeks, and then we have another break, and then the Australia and New Zealand leg starts after that. So.
All right, now, how did you land this tour?
Okay, so probably about a year ago, I got a call from a guitar player that I've worked with before. I subbed on a Broadway show a while back called On Your Feet, which was a show featuring the music of Gloria Estefan. And I got to know the guitar player on the show. And this guitar player happens to be Hugh's guitar player that's been playing with him for like 15 years or so.
Wow.
Great guitar player, great guy. So I had gotten a call probably about a year ago, maybe about February last year, to play a gig with Hugh, a private gig down in Florida. And it was a recommendation from this guitar player. So through that, just doing a good job on that gig, the music director called me to do a few more gigs with Hugh, just one-offs and a few other things, a little bit of recording. And then when this tour came up, I guess the band and the MD liked me because when the tour came up, they asked me to do it. So yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Now, this is a pretty huge event. You do like the O2 in
Yeah,
London.
it's been really fantastic. We did 6 nights at the O2 Arena in London, and it's an arena tour, so we're playing for like 20,000 people every night. And we're on stage, and the rumble of the audience and the cheering is really an energy unlike anything I've experienced before.
I can only imagine.
So it's really amazing. And obviously Hugh, he's got a huge fan base, so
Yeah.
everybody's come and loves him, and he's done a lot more, than just the Wolverine. A lot of people know him as that, but he's
Right.
actually a really great Broadway singer and actor and dancer before even like the movies. So it's just been really great to see like a very strong audience reaction to him, and to be on stage with him every night. It's a 20-piece orchestra, and the energy is really amazing.
Yeah, I'm following you on Instagram and catching
Yeah.
some of the shots. And I'm like, oh my God, look at this guy.
Yeah, it's the Instagram doesn't even, those little pictures don't even
Right.
show the scale of it, but it's really quite remarkable. A lot of the people on our crew and our touring managers and stuff are people from the Justin Timberlake tours, so it's that level of touring and,
Right.
and engagement. Yeah.
Well, this is not your first tour. But
No.
is this your biggest?
I would say it's probably the biggest, yeah. I mean, just in regard to the scale alone. I've done a bunch of Broadway touring before. There's a Broadway show called Jersey Boys that I toured with for years. I toured with the Broadway show Aladdin. I toured with the Broadway show Spring Awakening a bunch of years ago. And that touring has been great. But that stuff, you're in a pit or you're
Right.
under the stage, which is all great. For the Hugh tour, we're on stage and we're seen, and it's to be part of the show in that way is the energy is different than being under the stage or being hidden. Yeah.
But how do you mentally prepare yourself from that kind of leap from the pit to on stage?
Yeah, well, now I'm starting to get used to it. The first show was definitely, I was losing my mind for the tour. We rehearsed in northern England, where all the big acts rehearse in these big warehouses where everybody brings their big set, and they rehearse with the set and lighting and sound. But there's nobody out there in the audience. It's just the creative team and the sound designers and things. And the very first gig we played, when the audience was filled with probably about 20,000 people, I was definitely nothing like anything I've experienced, and it blew my mind. I was just like, this is insane, this is amazing, and this is, I've witnessed it from the audience side before, but then now to be on stage and to have the cheering coming in our direction, and some of the songs we did when people hold up, their cell phone with the light.
Right.
Never seen it from the stage before, just out in the audience. So that feeling, that energy was just so powerful and so amazing. And now I'm getting a little bit more used to it, but that first show especially was just like, I'm so emotional and so powerful. You know, it was intense. It was great.
So it's like a bona fide rock stardom.
Yeah,
in
I
a
guess
sense.
rock stardom, but
Yeah.
not rock music. Yeah.
Right. Because the material basically runs the gamut.
Yeah, it's everything from, you know, Hugh was in a movie a few years ago called The Greatest Showman.
Right.
So we're doing a bunch of songs from that. We're doing a few other Broadway tunes. We're doing some music from Les Mis, which he was in the movie a couple years ago.
Right.
And also some other songs, some shows he's done, and other songs that he just likes to sing. So we're basically doing everything from pop, you know, electric bass pop with a lot of click tracks, things like that, to straight up orchestral upright bass stuff with string section, bowed, you know, low extension stuff
Right.
on the bass. So, and everything in between, jazz, swing, some country kinds of things. So basically almost every kind of style. Yeah, so a lot of different things. Yeah.
All right. So you're doubling on this gig.
Correct, yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say the gig is about 60% acoustic bass and 40% electric bass. Maybe 55, 45, somewhere in there.
Right.
So yeah, you know, proficiency on the two instruments is key because, like I said, it's everything from pop. You know, I do a little bit of slapping and that pop kind of feel. To there's actually some kind of like Latin-y kind of stuff in it too. On upright, there's swing and there's like some country, and then there is a lot of bowed stuff where you're playing with the string section. It's a 20-piece orchestra,
Right.
so you know it's everything from pop with click tracks and like keeping a groove and keeping time to being part of like, you know, the string section with the violins and cello and bowing and things like that. So proficiency on both instruments and all styles is definitely
must.
important in this gig.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, as a player, how did you prepare yourself? Pre-gig.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So pre-gig, I didn't know all the music that we were going to do, and we actually didn't even know until we touched down.
It's a huge set list.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big set list. So, you know, I had played some gigs with Hugh prior, so
Right.
I think I knew already what tunes were going to be on it. And then, of course, the Greatest Showman tunes, I kind of guessed which ones I thought he would sing, because it's the ones he sings in the movie. So for those tunes, I listened to the original recording and figured out, you know, the bass lines off that. So then when we actually did touchdown, and there is a book, you know, with written music, you know, I had kind of like a head start on what, you know, the pop stuff was going to be like.
Right.
And like I said, some of the stuff I played with him before, some of the stuff was new. So obviously the sight reading skill is good because, or it needs to be good because,
Yeah.
you know, you don't get, you know, we didn't have months of rehearsal. We like landed and got the book, and in a week we're like playing shows. So
Wow.
again, some of the stuff I played, some of the stuff I didn't. But, you know, your sight reading needs to be together. And then, of course, you know, the ensemble playing. Like for the pop stuff, we have Avion mixers and in-ears. So for the pop stuff, you know, my mix is rhythm section heavy with click and drums.
Right.
But for the more orchestral stuff, it's string section heavy because I need to play with the cello and violas. So every song has, you know, its thing that I need to clue into, whether it's the click or the drums or piano or the strings. You know, every song gets treated a little bit differently depending on what it is.
Okay. Well, so you're obviously a career musician.
Well, I'm trying to be, yeah. It's working out all right so far, but just got to keep it going.
Let's rewind it back several years ago. You know, you're a player starting out, you know, looking for gigs. What's that roadmap look like for you?
Well, I guess like anybody else, originally, you know, I was into like, you know, heavy metal and Metallica and like Guns N' Roses and bands like that. So I started playing electric bass first. And then, you know, as you mature and your tastes mature, I got more into like, you know, Dream Theater and progressive metal.
Yeah.
You know, and actually I started playing six-string bass in high school already because of guys like Dream Theater. And then I started getting to jazz, so of course like guys like John Petitucci, six-string bass, all that stuff. And then it wasn't really until my senior year of high school that I started playing upright bass because I wanted to play in the orchestra.
Right.
I'd been playing electric bass this whole time, even like in jazz band. And then going to school, my undergrad, I did mostly acoustic bass, a lot of orchestral stuff, but still a lot of jazz. And then my master's as well. My master's was in jazz. And still trying to keep electric bass on the same level of acoustic bass. That was like very important to me. Like some guys are really good at one and then okay on the other, or vice versa, but it was really important to me to be as even as possible on both. And sometimes it kind of goes like this, you know, but that was definitely important to me, as well as like keeping the bow stuff together on upright
Right.
bass, because it's kind of pretty critical, because it doesn't come up all the time, but when it does, you need to deliver, you know, in that respect with the bow. So.
Okay, you mentioned education a little bit. What school did you attend?
Well, my undergrad, I went to the Crane School of Music at SUNY Potsdam.
Oh, okay.
I was actually a music ed major, so I'm K through 12 certified New York State to teach, which I did do for a little while.
Okay.
And then my master's, I went to Manhattan School of Music for jazz performance. So, you know, obviously a heavy jazz and classical education, but you know, being a bass player, you know, it was important to me to know like all styles. When I did my master's too, I did play a lot of like Cuban music and Afro-Cuban
Right.
music. I was in Bobby Sanabria's
Okay.
big band, you know, his Afro-Cuban big band when I was at Manhattan School, which was amazing. But you know, as a bass player, I wanted to play all these different styles, because as a bass player, I think you should be able to, you know, and you should be able to do anything at any given time. You know, obviously you have your strengths, but you know, rhythm section, bass, you have to know different styles and different things to work, because I wanted to work proficiently as a bass player. I didn't want to be pigeonholed as like, oh,
Right.
he only does this or he only does that. I
Right.
wanted to be like, oh, this guy does everything, so I could hire him for this or this or this or this, all these different things. So that was important to me, especially in the later years when I was doing my master's and the time after that, you know, graduating and everything. So.
It obviously worked.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. It's working all right so far, yeah. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, yeah.
Now, you're still doing club dates as well, correct?
I do, yeah. I'm in a great club date band, a fantastic band, and it's a lot of fun, because you know, it's a lot of like great pop tunes and like Bruno Mars stuff and like Katy Perry stuff. So it's really fun to play those tunes. And the particular band I'm in, the guys are great, guys and girls are great, and it's a lot of fun. We can stretch out a little bit, sum up. We don't go crazy, but you know, we don't have to stay so rigid to the tunes. So
Right.
we you know, play with each other and we have fun, and yeah, it's a great experience. Yeah.
What's the name of this band, by the way?
The band is called LUXE, LUXE, and yeah, everybody in it is really on the top of their game all around, and it really makes it a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's take a minute to discuss your instrumentation.
Okay.
Your choice of instruments.
The choice, yes, yeah. Well, New York Bass Works, definitely my choice by far for electric bass. At this point, I own 5, and I think a 6th is on the way. Just got to figure out what I want. But yeah, you know, I first met Dave, oh my God, like, I want it 20 years ago, I guess, maybe. He was recommended to me to do some work on the basses I was playing at the time. Just electronic work and like some setup work and things like that. So that's when we first met. And then I remember when Bass Day was still happening.
Manhattan
Dave had
Center?
yeah, at the Manhattan
Yeah.
Center, yeah. When that was still going on, Dave had a booth there, and I remember going and playing his basses and being like, oh my God, these are amazing, you know, amazing instruments. But I think, you know, at the time, I think I was broke, you know, college student, I was broke. So what I had is what I had.
Right.
And then several years went by, and actually I didn't see Dave. And then it was probably another, I can't remember, maybe 3 or 4 years after that, maybe even 5 or 6. But it was another, it wasn't Bass Day, but another kind of thing where Dave had a booth. And at this point, I was making some more money, you know, and a little more financially better, more, you know, more happening financially. So I saw him again and kind of we kind of saw each other after not seeing each other for a bunch of years. And then after like 1 second of playing the basses he had there, I told him this, and he'll tell you that the story is true. I was like, Dave, I have to buy this bass right now, right now. At that time, I was playing some other basses and stuff, and I was kind of like, oh, I guess these other basses are all right. But then, like, after a second of playing Dave's, I was like, this needs to be my bass right now. And that bass was currently owned by somebody that let Dave use it for the show. So I
Right.
couldn't get that bass. And I was like, Dave, I'll write you a check right now. But he was like, oh, I can't.
Wow.
So then I think that spurred the conversation for my first Cremona from Dave. And then, you know, I think probably a month or 2 after that, we got together and talked about what I wanted. And then it was built. And then there was like the first Cremona that I had. And since then, I've got a couple Cremonas. I got a 6-string fretted, a 6-string fretless. I have a 5-string fretted. All amazing, all beautiful. And then, of course, the RS series came out.
Right.
And I was like, this is amazing. So I have a 5-string fretted and I just got my 5-string fretless 2 days ago.
We're going to show that in the video.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll definitely take it out. But I mean, it's just amazing on all levels. I mean, tone aside, like every time I play it, everybody always compliments it. Sound and the band and you know, the front of house and the monitor guys, everybody, they're always complimented. So sound aside, they're still the most comfortable instruments I've ever played. The balance is perfect. You know, the ergonomics is perfect. You know, you wear it with the strap and it sits exactly where it's supposed to strip. You play it on your leg and it sits exactly where it's supposed to sit. It doesn't like, it doesn't do anything like that. Balance is perfect. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. So sound aside, the feel and the balance and the construction is amazing, and it just doesn't compare to anything else. You know, and I played a bunch.
Yeah, a lot of people may not realize, Dave is a professional player in his own right.
Right. Yeah.
He's toured with Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yes.
And, has come up, through the ranks, up and down near the coast.
Yeah.
He's lurking behind us right now.
Yeah. He's carefully watching. Yeah.
But he's a player.
Yeah.
And he's a trained sound engineer also. So all that goes influences.
I actually didn't know that about the sound engineer.
Yeah. Dave, sound engineer.
Yeah. He knows a lot about frequencies. Though.
Yes.
I mean, he knows a lot.
So it's an instrument. It's not designed to be a toy. It's designed to take on tour.
Right.
And to travel with. Because he's had to do the same things himself. So
right. Yeah.
It all winds up back in the instruments.
Yeah. And instruments extremely reliable. I never have to worry about anything going wrong or anything, breaking down or falling apart or anything like that. Everything is just consistent and solid, and I really never have to worry about it. In fact, actually, the techs, I have a bass tech on this tour, who sets everything up and changes strings and everything like that. And he did change the batteries, and he was like, dude, I've never seen a cleaner cavity in my entire life. It's inside this bass.
Oh my God.
So I mean, everybody, even the keyboard tech was like, dude, that bass is amazing. Like, and the sound, everybody loves it, and it's just on all levels, like, amazing. Yeah.
You have the RS-522 Ash Maple.
That's correct. Yeah. Ash Maple, Maple fingerboard, jazz single coil pickups, and it's sounding great out there. It's doing great. Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I don't know personally how we would do it. Stay afloat without great clients like yourself.
My God! Yeah,
who take the instrument out and use it the way it's intended.
Oh, thank you.
Give us vital feedback on the instrument. So Dave and I both thank you. You know this.
Thank you.
We just really appreciate everything you're doing. We're very proud of you.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't. If NYBW wasn't around, I mean, I don't know what I would be playing. I don't know what. I try and think about it. I'm like, I just don't know what I would do. What would I do? What would I play? I'd be like, oh, maybe I could play that. Maybe I could play this. But I don't know. It just wouldn't be the same. So I'm so glad that you guys are here and you are doing the work that you're doing. And that we're both in New York. So I can pop over here like at any time. I'm not in another country or someplace where we're far apart. So it's really easy to come over and collaborate with you guys or talk to Dave and you about anything I want. And it's really great. So I can't imagine if it was anything else. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know, what would I do?
I have two MVWs myself, so I share that. I don't know what I'd play. I played other things. I don't know what I'd play at this stage.
Yeah. I guess I could settle on something, but why?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So what's up next? Verdino.
Continuing on, the U.S. leg of the Hugh Jackman tour starts next week in Houston, and we've got about 5 weeks of that, and then a break, and then an Australian, New Zealand leg.
Oh, wow. That's
and then
huge.
Another break, and then actually a little bit more in the U.S. So just continuing on that for now, and just enjoying every minute of it, and then, after that, we'll see what happens.
Any dates in the New York tri-state area?
Actually, we'll be at Madison Square Garden.
I knew it.
Yeah, the Garden. I think it's the 28th and 29th, that Friday and Saturday. 1 show Friday night, 2 shows on Saturday. And then when we come back around in the fall, we're at Nassau Coliseum, October something. I don't know.
This is a major tour. Wow.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, huge venues. We'll be at the Hollywood Bowl and, in L.A. and Madison Square Garden and, pretty big places. So it's pretty amazing.
Wow. Well, once again, Mark Verdino, thank you for stopping by, taking time. I know you're busy.
Oh my God, thank you. It's always a pleasure to come by and play all the basses on the wall.
We've been talking about, getting you in here for the longest time. We finally got you in here. It was an absolute pleasure.
I know, yeah. I think we've been wanting to do the video for like years.
Yeah.
Now at this point.
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mark Verdino, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.